Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I must say it's so good to see all of you. Our partnership, I wasn't present with the launch of the partnership, and as I was out of country at that time, and in my absence I was allocated to partner with Patandwa Sonamzi. And I must say this is really an awesome individual. I have had the privilege of attending different sessions, and it is from all the partners or service providers that we dealt with, if you listen to them, even his own teaching staff. So I must thank Partners for Possibility for joining me up with an awesome individual. And then further to that, I've also met a nice circle of friends, circle of like-minded people in this room tonight, for which I am eternally grateful, and I'm looking forward to walking this journey further with you. For those of you who don't know, the Welwitschia name is actually a very powerful name. The Welwitschia is a plant that grows in Namibia. And what is so amazing about this plant, it uses very scarce resources. And it is one of the plants that is in existence for centuries. It actually grows quite big. I've had the privilege of working in Namibia for 6 years, and in fact, this plant grows only in the desert. So in the middle of nothing, just sand, you will see this plant grows, and it grows for literally hundreds of years. And it's actually typical of what the school is currently facing, because they've got a huge task at hand with very minimal resources. So myself and Batanda started on this journey, and I must thank Partners for Possibility that actually kick-started this project. When it was introduced at Pioneer, an email or something was sent, or at a meeting, I don't know how it originated, to the executive team, and I was just asked, Patrick, here's something, are you interested? And because I've got heart for the community, although I didn't know how to kickstart that, I just said yes. And I only found out later what it was all about, but nonetheless, I'm not actually sorry that I started with the journey. So we're going to take you through our slide presentation, and I hope it captures what we did.
So I joined PFP for personal development because I believe that I needed to improve the quality of the work that I do, which is teaching and leading the institution that I was given by the WCED. And I also wanted to meet and network with people who are passionate about education and from the private sector to tap from their experiences. It has been confirmed already by the previous speakers that we were a wonderful group of people who are so passionate about education. And I also joined PFP to learn more about how to involve and build our communities, because there is this perception out there that our communities are less interested or don't care about the education of their children. So I wanted to actually also learn how can I better involve them. I also wanted to get capacitated on how I can better make a meaningful contribution in the transformation of our country. It is no longer a secret now that our education system is in crisis in this country, and I believe that if we want to improve the lives of our people, we need to give them better education. We need to provide quality education.
And I always wanted to be a boilermaker. And then I started a boilermaking apprenticeship, and when I was midway, almost about 6 months away from my trade test, I decided that is not what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And after that, I really didn't know what to do. And then in 1984, I went to Namibia, and there were a couple of individuals where I had the privilege of, I went back to them in 2013 to go and thank them for the role that they played in my life, because they encouraged me, they identified potential in me, and they said, Patrick, you've got the ability. And maybe just to encapsulate that, I started studying part-time when I was 29 years old, and I qualified as a chartered accountant when I was 36 years old. And during that time, I also got married and I raised a couple of kids. And I always felt I had to plow back to the community. So this is basically at the right time when Partners for Possibility became involved with Pioneer Fruits. A friend of mine sent me this quote some time ago, and it says, if you want happiness for an hour, take a nap. But that will mean I will have to take many naps. If I want to have happiness for the day, I need to go fishing. But and then I won't take care of my responsibilities. The other one is we want happiness for a year, inherit a fortune. And unfortunately, I don't have any rich people in my family. So the last one is what motivated me because, and I think your video encapsulated that. To get real happiness, you have to invest in people and make someone or help someone along the way. That is really what gives you happiness. And that is the primary reason why I got involved in this project.
In our first meeting, when Joe came to introduce my partner for the first time, who was introduced to me in absentia, we have introductions. I was quite not sure also whether I was taking a correct journey. I was actually boarding the right bus. But after we have shared our backgrounds, we got to know each other. There were common things amongst ourselves, the three of us. We shared personal experiences, myself and Patrick, and we leveled the ground in that first meeting for effective communication and partnering. And I was put at ease. Then we started immediately building the connection. The facilitator who chaired that meeting, she did an exceptionally well job. We then discussed something called school improvement plan in our first meeting when she left us, because for me, it's all about the improvement in the school. That's it.
So then, obviously, we also had our triad meeting, and Joe facilitated that from time to time. And just linking on to what Kitty said earlier, and you can see in all those pictures, it's all happy, smiling faces. Although the task at hand is quite big, and again, we had fun whilst we were learning and exchanging stories and experiences amongst one another. And then, this is also what PFP enabled us to be part of this wonderful group of people that's here tonight presenting to all of you. And as I said earlier on, it is a real privilege to meet like-minded people that you can see there are also other people that feel exactly the same as you. Unfortunately, everybody's not in the picture. I think this is what was at your school in Dibe?
It was in Gateway Primary.
Yeah.
And it seems to be the most favorable picture. So we shall keep it.
What PFP did for us, it introduced us to time to think. So yeah, we've spent a lot of time thinking of what we can do, how can we make an impact in our communities at the school, because I'm of the view I can't help all the schools, but I need to make an impact at the one that I'm involved in. What it also allowed us to do is make us aware of the art of the possibility. And we've got minimal resources, we have to juggle even in business. Where do you invest? Where don't you want to invest? And even with the minimal stuff that we had, we've already started making an impact at the school. And then we did contracting, negotiation skills. Yes, and we actually that was one of the areas that we explored a lot, and we agreed up front as a partnership. What is it that we want to do, and how we're going to take that forward.
This is perfect. This is me. So this is what we agreed upon after contracting. We came to realize that this journey is not about PFP or the business partner, sponsors or getting sponsors from corporate world or marketing activities, or about the principal and his degrees and his years of experience.
Although I need to interject there, the focus is on the school principal, but I must say I've got an amazing partner. He's very well rounded.
Oh, really?
So we decided we're going to focus more on the immediate needs than in terms of developing ourselves during this process.
Let me take that compliment again. So we then realized that this was about the learners, the teachers, and the community. So that's where our focus is. In each and every meeting that we had, we will ask a question. Whatever we've been discussing here, how is it going to benefit that learner? How is it going to make a difference in that learner? How is it going to improve our results, because we have the results to produce at the end of the day? So that question was always there. Hence we agreed that this is about the learners. And the teachers, of course, because in order for the learners to improve the results, they need to have teachers. Community needs to be involved again.
So what PFP meant for us, it prepared us for the ultimate task at hand, community building, and I think this was a common theme amongst our group here as well. So yes, we are prepared for the task at hand.
So this speaks to me. I have to answer that question, which we asked both of us, but he said I must answer it. I've got skills and in-depth knowledge of how to effectively contract between groups. Now I can handle my meetings with parents and teachers and everybody else at the school more effectively. I've seen some growth in my leadership style and strategies of involving the community. We're going to share now shortly. Further develop my listening skills. I don't want to dwell on much on that because it has been mentioned already. Networking with my colleagues, principals here, sharing good practices. I've learned a lot from them, and thank you very much for that. Networking with business leaders, and I got an opportunity to get to know also how complex the job that I'm doing is. As Anthony was saying here earlier on, that you go to a job not knowing what is at stake. Lastly, I also get an opportunity to network with other enablers like Broadline Africa. We're going to share with you shortly what Broadline did for us, and Kulula.com and other sponsors.
This is one of the initiatives that we undertook shortly after we formed the partnership. We took a couple of teachers and and one parent to what we call a soccer clinic. The two people that you see here is a father and son, Ronaldo, senior and junior. They're from Brazil. They stay here in the Tableview area with Ronaldo and his wife and the two kids. And we took some of the teachers there as they primarily invest in soccer coaching. But they do it from a parent point of view, they do it from a sponsor's point of view, and ultimately they work with the kids, but they don't just teach them football skills, they teach them how to be professional since a very small age. And the name is called BISA, and BISA stands for Brazilian Skills, European Discipline, South African Power and Speed. And these were some of the teachers and the parent that was there, and they were also given certificates. The school participated in a couple of soccer games, and this learner at the school was actually selected to play in the Ajax junior team subsequent to that event. It is a small start, but we hope it will bear much fruit, and we don't see this as a once-off exercise, we actually see this as an ongoing exercise.
The other thing that we've done here, we managed to get 2 mobile classrooms that were erected that assisted us to accommodate 16 more learners, which is equating to 2 extra classrooms at our school. At the moment, we are sitting at 1,248 learners.
You can speak better on this one, Petralwa.
We also looked at positive impacts of this partnership. There is a company called Welwitschia. They offer a program called Homeschool Partnership. So we had an opportunity to mobilize parents at our school to attend an 8-week session. The 4 teachers at our school volunteered to attend a training with Welwitschia. Then they came back to the school and started training our parents. The parents were basically trained on basic numeracy and literacy skills so that they can help the children, their own children first at home, and in the afternoons they come and tutor at our school. So here, that was our graduation day. That's a parent with me. This is another parent. This parent was selling fat cooks in the community, but when she heard about this program, she decided to join, and now she's graduated. And I'm reliably informed that now she has been employed in one of the creches here in town. She is no longer selling. Then here, it was a graduation day. As you can see that the audience is sitting there and listening attentively. My business partner was delivering a keynote address there. Then here, this is a grandmother standing in the middle, and this is her daughter. So she came here to come and witness that her daughter was graduating. So she was excited after the graduation. She said to me, she's excited that she's a youngster, I think she just, okay, let me not disclose the age, but the grandmother was there of the child who is at our school. Another one.
This one is also you.
Right, we are also happy to report today that we, after 8 years, 9 years, we managed to get a new mobile library. This was sponsored by, donated by kulula.com, but sponsored by Breadline and Shine. Breadline and Shine are coming in to sponsor also more books. We still need more books. So this was the day of the launch where you see us, and you can see my business partner is always involved. He was there. He graced our function on that day. Right.
The other one, we unfortunately don't have pictures of that, was we started with 2 school choirs, a junior and a senior choir, and we've beaten, what is this?
Matrusberg and Gateway.
So yeah, so we still see it as a long journey ahead. We're still climbing the ladder. We've barely started scratching the surface. So yeah, we're looking forward to the future.
You speak to us.
And that you can see where we are. We haven't even covered the surface of that bottom line there. So there's still lots to do here. And then this thing, when eventually it reaches that point, it doesn't mean anything. You have to turn it around and start all over again. So that is where we currently are. Just maybe some of the things that we still got on our list. There you can see maths and science kits, teacher assistants, school librarian, upgrade a blues. We've already started with that, but we still got a long way to go. Painting of classrooms, school artwork and design in the science lab. And then we're busy with, we've got a computer lab there, but we're not really there yet. We need an extra minimum 40 more computers, which we are in the progress of getting traction on. And then obviously because of the school choirs, we need to get a music teacher there because they've been doing quite well, and most times we were getting at least first prize, and if not first, it's second. So we're making good progress on that. And then obviously the program that Batanwa focused on earlier with the parents, we need to get some parent, because if they're at school, then they can't earn a living. So we somehow need to pay them at least something for them to be at school. And then obviously we see the sport coaches and the soccer clinics as an ongoing thing. It's not a once-off. The next phase is now to take all the learners, that there's about more or less between 16 and 20 who play soccer, to take them through a physical evaluation. This guy's from Brazil, so he's a very good coach and he's working with kids primarily. And then obviously there's some other infrastructure that we need to maintain at the school. If you ever visit the school, you will see it's mostly a sand area. It's not really conducive for children to play soccer, and they play, and there's a lot of bricks and stuff in between. So those are still the things that we want to embark on.
Right. PFP contract ends tonight. However, our journey continues. That's what we agreed, myself and my business partner.
Thank you.
We want to thank you very much.